Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain a mystery thriller series called Triptych from 2023. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The sixth episode opens with Julia talking about believers and non-believers and how the non-believers suffer with unanswered questions. The scene changes to Beatrice telling Becca what happened the day she was born. Her birth mom was a child herself, and Beatrice and another nurse named Rebecca were taking care of the delivery in the basement of a building with another doctor. Even though it was a high-risk delivery, it was successful. They were supposed to stay there until the mother and baby got back to health for a long journey. But one day, Beatrice heard the doctor telling two men that the babies were ready for stage 2 of the experiment. So, Beatrice called her cousin to pick them up in the middle of the night. The three women tried to run out with 3 babies, but Rebecca got caught by the guards, and they killed her right away. The other 2 women got in the cab and fled from there. That's when Beatrice remembered Becca's adoptive parents. Beatrice and their birth mom, Paquita, thought about giving away Tamara too. But at the last minute, Paquita wanted to keep her. She used a fake name, Francisca. But Becca doesn't understand why Aleida was in America for adoption. She found Aleida's birth certificate at Eugenio's place. Julia is confused, and Becca tells her that Eugenio kidnapped her and said he would help her get more information about Aleida. But Tamara is not taking this seriously. She even thinks that they are clones, like in science fiction movies. Julia doesn't completely disregard the idea of them being clones, especially with the advancements in science. The scene cuts to Tamara and Eugenio coming back to their house. Eugenio asks her what Pilar told her. Tamara tells him that Pilar only said she misses her daughter. We see Pilar telling her that she didn't even get to say goodbye to Aleida because Eugenio arranged for the cremation and everything. Eugenio then asks whether Becca told her anything. Tamara gets upset and tells him that she thought he was keeping tabs on her through his motorcycle friend, and she leaves. Back to Becca, she's now at home. Humberto is talking to his son to comfort him. After he's done, Becca comes up to him and gives him a hug. Meanwhile, Tamara has dressed in a sexy outfit and is watching herself in the mirror. Becca is now making love with Humberto, and she gets visions. She sees Eugenio killing Aleida with a blade. Becca starts panicking and pushes Humberto away. Humberto calms her down. In the morning, Becca tells Humberto that they have to investigate further. 3 sisters losing a parent around the same time can't be a coincidence. She has to investigate the basement too. Even Julia thinks that some kind of cloning experiment was done in that basement. Humberto is skeptical, but he can't stop Becca. The scene changes to Julia. Her assistant tells her that the woman is responding to the medicine. Julia looks satisfied, and then she gets a call from someone saved in her phone as S1. The scene changes to Becca, who is now getting in her car. She finds a bottle of alcohol inside the car but doesn't drink it. She gets a call from Tamara asking her to meet. The scene cuts to Becca showing her adoptive mom the picture of the social worker she took in Julia's place. Her mom couldn't identify the woman, mainly because it has been so long. The doorbell rings, and it's Tamara and Aleida's adoptive mom. Dolores gives Tamara a hug, and Becca takes Pilar inside. Dolores shows Pilar pictures of Becca when she was little, and Becca and Tamara are in the kitchen preparing tea. Becca is upset that Tamara brought her here, but Tamara assures her that Pilar has no idea about anything. Plus, Becca can try to get more information out of Pilar. The scene cuts to Laura telling Rogelio that she doesn't buy the story of Aleida's spiritual journey, and that it's unlike her to give away all her life's work to Eugenio that easily. Rogelio tells her not to worry, as he's investigating it. The scene cuts to Julia going to a patient's house while on a call. She tells the caller that she left everything for them on her desk, and they should do the rest themselves. Back to Becca, Tamara, and their moms. They are discussing why Aleida was in New York for adoption. But one strange thing they discover is that Becca was tested every month for the experiment, which they didn't know at the time, and Aleida was also tested. Becca asks whether Aleida dated any psychologist, and Pilar confirms that she dated a German psychologist. Federico kept himself in good shape, but one day while playing golf with Bernardo, he had a massive heart attack and didn't last until the ambulance came. This seems quite suspicious to Becca, as they were alone when it happened. Anyway, Dolores gives her a magazine where she found an article on an experiment done with 3 twins who were separated at birth. Becca takes the magazine and puts it inside Aleida's other things. She then asks Pilar to help them gain permission to look around the basement of the hospital. The scene changes to Pilar taking Becca and Humberto to the basement of the hospital. She gives Becca her card and tells her that it will open all the locked doors for them, even the elevator. Meanwhile, Pilar will keep Mr. Tamayo busy so he doesn't get suspicious. After Pilar leaves, Becca and Humberto start looking around. Becca has a vision of Aleida being taken away on a stretcher, and she asks Humberto whether he's sure Aleida was dead when he saw her. Humberto is sure. He knows what a dead body looks like. Becca drops the topic and they start searching. They find a bunch of files, but they are not dated. Finally, Humberto finds a suitcase belonging to Bernardo, who was responsible for Aleida's adoption. In the suitcase, they find documents about the experiment. In the documents, Aleida, Becca, and Tamara are labeled as Alpha, Beta, and Gamma. They also find a picture of a Nazi female soldier. Apparently, the three sisters are clones of hers. The scene cuts to Becca telling all of this to Julia. The scene cuts to Rogelio and his wife Cynthia, visiting Eugenio's house unannounced. Eugenio tries to make them leave by saying that Aleida has a migraine, but Cynthia forces her way in anyway. Back to Becca. She shows Julia a picture of Bernardo, Federico, and another German man who's a psychologist. Becca asks Julia whether she knows this man. Julia replies that she doesn't know him personally but knows his story. His name is Marcus, and he's Austrian. The Israeli Secret Service was onto him, as they were trying to locate all the Nazi criminals living in Latin America. His case became quite known back then. Becca couldn't handle all this information at once, and she takes the wine bottle from Julia and starts chugging it, even though she rejected it before. Back at Eugenio's place, Tamara has just finished taking a shower, and Cynthia surprises her there. She hugs her, and Tamara tells her she'll go down in a moment. Back to Becca, she's drinking again in her car. She's also driving while drinking. Meanwhile, Cynthia is bombarding Tamara with questions about her tour. Eugenio tries to tell them not to bring business here, but Cynthia asks Tamara to show pictures of the tour. Tamara and Eugenio manage to change the topic. Back to drunk Becca, she's feeling dizzy but doesn't stop drinking. Tamara also starts feeling dizzy, and Eugenio and the others notice this too. Rogelio and Cynthia decide to leave, seeing Tamara's condition. As they are leaving, drunk Tamara comes up to Eugenio and starts rubbing against him in front of them. Meanwhile, Becca arrives at Tamara's old club. She goes inside and chugs more alcohol. A dancer is performing on stage, and Becca gets on the stage too. She forcefully holds the dancer, thinking she's Tamara, but the security guards drag her away. Back to Tamara, she hugs Cynthia as they are leaving and starts kissing her on the lips. This makes both Rogelio and Cynthia uncomfortable, and they leave quickly. Eugenio calls Becca and she picks up. She accuses Eugenio of being part of the experiment and killing Aleida, then hangs up. Eugenio is extremely frustrated with everything that happened that night. We then see Becca having a dream where she's wearing a doctor's uniform and is in a delivery room. She thinks her birth mom is there, but when she removes the sheet, no one is there. Becca wakes up to Humberto calling her. She is in a prison cell but doesn't remember anything about the previous night. The scene cuts to Rogelio coming to the office and looking for Eugenio, but he's on leave for the day. The scene changes to Humberto asking Becca why she drank so much. Becca replies that after she told Julia everything the previous night, Julia offered her wine, and she drank it. Humberto is upset, but they get in the car. Becca gets a call from Beatrice asking them to meet at her place. Before they can go, we see the man on the bike arriving at Beatrice's place. The scene changes back to Becca and Humberto as they arrive at Beatrice's place. Beatrice doesn't respond, so they enter the house after finding the door open. They can't find Beatrice, and finally Becca finds her dead on the floor and calls Humberto. The scene cuts to Julia taking care of her orchids when the person on the bike enters the room and takes off their mask. The episode ends with the shocking revelation that the person is not a man but a woman. Most importantly, Julia's assistant, who informs Julia that the mission is accomplished. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen, and don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.